Dude!
Suck it up.
buddy. I'm Lex.
I'm Jason from PDQ.com.
Working hard on those beach bodies.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate that. I did leave my
beach
bikini.
babes.
I left my bikini home today.
Thank God.
We didn't want anyone to go blind, but should we jump into this?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, getting ready for summer, guys.
Yeah. So basically what we're doing here is looking at what kind of things you can do before you go on summer break. Whether
Just wanna pick
educational, whether you're, just going on a long
Absolutely.
vacation.
Just get you thinking about things that you might want to take a look at. And right at the gate, the first thing I think about is Active Directory. And the reason I do that is because my lab, the way I keep things, probably not the cleanest. So
We know, because, no.
well, let's go do this. Let's go find out a couple of things from Active Directory.
Okay.
Last time things were logged in, and how we added things into inventory so that we can tell what our sync is, how it's set up. So
Okay.
first thing, let's just jump in and
You want to add some columns in?
I would. You want to drive from here?
Yeah, I will, because that's going to be dangerous.
Me driving as much
You
as I've
are
been drinking.
You are over the limit.
I am over the
Yeah,
limit.
he already blew over the limit.
So 80 last logon, good.
Yeah, and let's grab added from.
Absolutely, it matters, and,
Yeah.
and we'll explain why here.
I'm gonna
I
go
love
ahead
that you
and-
dragged that.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. They're right up there. So now you can see they're right here in our view. But
First thing out the gate, added from active 80 sync, which means Active Directory sync is going to take care of that.
Yep.
Excellent.
What's default?
I have no idea what
Default is the actual machine we're on.
Okay. Good
So
to-
it's by default going to live in there.
I knew that.
I knew
I
you
just
did.
like the way you. You'll notice we added one by name, Fakey Fake here.
Are you sure that's not really real?
It's not really real.
Okay.
And of course, we got some network discovery. Now
Sure.
let's just talk about how things are added so that you kind of get a good idea of how we read things from Active Directory. So if you go to Options and Preferences, Active Directory, you'll notice we've got the Active Directory sync. We got delete modes here. And the reason we bring this up is because of the way we've got ours set up, it can be kind of difficult, or could be difficult, to determine how dirty our Active Directory is.
Right.
So right out the gate, just so you know, import only will never delete anything. You have to go after it yourself, but
So even if you clean up AD and resync, it's not going to do
it's going to
anything.
come back, right? Mix sync again. Don't delete computers that are not part of your sync. So anything that was marked 80 sync will get taken care of, but anything added other ways will not.
Right.
And then finally, full sync.
So full sync is going to mirror Active Directory as closely as possible.
And before we do anything there, I'm just going to minimize this. Once again, 80 sync by name, Fakey Fake,
Yep.
and our network discovery we did yesterday. So
Yep. Let's go ahead and do a sync.
if we go back and do that sync, if I change that over to full sync from Active Directory, anything that is not an Active Directory is going to get kinked out.
It's going to do something like that.
It'll do something.
So if we go ahead and minimize that while that's working, you'll see all those machines actually popped out there. All we have now is AD sync.
Deleted anything that was out of 80 sync. Now, the other thing it's going to do is it's going to add anything in my Active Directory, because occasionally I'll get rid of a machine and I won't take it out of Active Directory.
Yeah, so basically you're looking at machines here that are in Active Directory, but they're actually been deleted. These are VMs we don't have anymore.
All right, so let's take a look at Supernova here. I keep deleting Supernova from here so that you guys don't have to look at it and I don't have to look at it.
You could just clean up Active Directory.
If I cleaned up Active Directory, it wouldn't show up here. So
Yeah. So what can we do with this information now? Now that we've got everything syncing correctly and we want to clean up Active
what do
Directory.
you want to do with this information, man?
Well, I like to do... I actually pre-built a collection for this.
You did. Last logon. I love that.
So this is basically looking at the 80 last logon. Now remember, this isn't users. This is computers
Computer login.
that have checked into AD.
Now, the nice thing about this is any machine that, say, I deleted and I didn't take out of Active Directory and I forgot about, this is going to help you find. Now, we picked 7 days ago. You may want to pick more than that, but
Yeah. So
as we take a look here,
it's all set. That's done.
and if you pull up, let's just look at Bird Person. Last time Bird Person logged in, it was actually showing there. But if you go to computer information, AD, Active Directory,
Right
last
over here.
login right here,
Yep.
429.
We
was the check-in
could
time.
also do this.
Now, where this can come into play again, you could actually write some processes that would go out and say anything that's outside of 30 days. Maybe you want to go and just auto clean up Active Directory. I want you to know, inventory does not
Well, the idea is basically
make changes to Active Directory.
Right. It's read only
Yeah.
from our program. But the idea is that you have a list that you can now attack. You can take action on those computers.
Some action, absolutely.
All right. Local admin accounts.
My favorite.
Oh,
You know, the second you give me access, I'm going to make sure I can always have access, right?
yeah. So I actually put these in custom reports. I pre-built these as well.
Or the other thing is, let's say you're inheriting
Yeah.
your environment from somebody else. You just want to get a good idea of what is out there and what can actually make changes to machines.
So I went ahead and built this report, and
Let's go to let's define the report because it looks well.
'Cause, I
There's
mean,
a lot
some-
of info there.
yeah, I actually put some accounts in here already, but you pointed out this morning, like Lapse Admin, that's supposed to be
Well,
there.
domain. Wow.
Domain is supposed
Domain
to be there too.
admins, yes, domain admins should definitely be there. So let's go filter a few. First of all, here's the filters we put in there, right? Group equals
I
administrators.
don't remember why Bob's in there, but
Bob,
from previous.
previous Bob.
Yeah.
Well, Bob's a good account. I have no idea who put Bob in there.
I think I did, but I don't remember why.
We're adding filters. So we're filtering out things that we expect to see because it's just noise in that report that we don't need to look at.
Well, let's go ahead and save that and then rerun it.
And again, the nice thing is it comes up each time, a few less things to look at. Vincent's legit, so
Yep,
let's
so let's add
remove
Vincent.
that. Again, oh, here you're just adding, well, do that again. Whoa, do that again. Show them how you did that. I like the way
want me
you
to
go
delete
about
it
that. Yeah,
first?
delete it.
Okay, so because if I just go up here and I say add a filter, I'm going to get, usually it auto-filled, but I can also right-click underneath that and say add a value filter, and it'll be sometimes empty, and I'd have to go through and choose everything.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just right-clicked and did that.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and delete that.
Just a different way to do, get to the same.
Anytime I can do a
destination.
shortcut or not have to type something or...
Absolutely. So we, through attrition, because
we go.
we don't know everything right out the gate, we expected those things. Now we've removed them. Fluffy.
Yeah.
Who
So
did
now,
that?
yeah, not me,
Comedian, maybe?
pretty much.
Anyway, okay.
So now we're left with just local admins that shouldn't be here, that we shouldn't expect to see.
And the nice thing is we do have the computer so we can go and remove those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Need be.
Cool. Group policy.
Group policy. Where do we start? Let's start with profiles.
Okay. So let's go back to our scan profiles.
Okay, again, let's say your teachers are leaving for the summer or, a majority of people are going out on summer break, vacation.
Yeah.
It's a good time to do some cleanup. It's a good time
Especially
to-
labs and things like that. Especially in schools.
Absolutely.
Ugh, horrible.
So profiles wise, and I'm going to take you through this because we've already done this, but
You're missing something from that.
I always miss something, don't I?
Click add.
Add. No, don't tell me. Computer info.
Details, yeah.
Computer details.
Always add computer details.
Why do we do that?
Because it's the most important information as far as like last logged on.
Whether it's been
users,
rebooted, those
yeah.
kind of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a quick scan, so why not grab it, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we go into our WMI profile here. And again, I'm just going to take you through how I found this, all right? So launch the WMI Explorer. Again, you got to connect. People, I am so not good at SQL. I'm almost as good at that as I am at typing. So I know it's in SimV2. That's a good place to start. So you'll notice I just clicked on that. It expanded, but I didn't get any information here. You get a double click. Once a double click, you'll notice right here, enumerating classes. This is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from there, I typed in profile. P-R.
I know. how
That's
to
as far as I know how to
Yeah.
spell profile, but
profile.
user profile. Okay. Now, the reason I show you this, guys, is if you don't run this before you decide to make it into a scanner, it could run for a very long time. So let's just select what we want here and hit execute. It ran nice and fast. I'm going to kind of expand this here so you can see. Hey, I really don't need this information. So I started digging down into
yeah.
what I really wanted. So select from last time used. That's important.
Yeah.
So I went up here in the WO query and just added the fields that I wanted, and I ended up with this guy right here, local path, last time used, and loaded, whether or not it was loaded.
Yep.
Okay, again, unless you put a trigger on this, you're gonna have to run this.
Yep.
And it looks a lot like you just right click, scan collection, and select profiles. I already ran it. Let's just go take a look at the profiles on Allen Rails.
Sure.
When you open this, you gotta go down, and did you
I
hear
did.
the spin
I
of the
did.
wheel?
I did. We need a louder one for you.
Mouse wheel. Go to WMI profiles, and here, that's applied GPO, which we'll actually hit too, but there's my profiles. Okay, last scan date, last time used, loaded, and user path right there.
Who's Tony Blurp?
Tony Blurp? I have no idea, but we've got a profile. So now I've got a list of profiles I can go after to go and do deletes.
Yeah.
Do a del prof, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Now,
I actually used Delprof previously, but it was long ago. So I don't know if it's still a current thing. We've added some links in the bonus content for it.
yes, I think we did. Now, here's the thing. The debate has been in the pre-show and pre-show, does del prof work in Windows 10?
I don't know.
Try it, guys. Find out. I think it might.
Yeah, or chime in on the chat.
Yeah, let us know.
You guys
But
know?
You can go clean up
I'm not
those
sure if it's
profiles there.
supported. Yeah.
You're not. Well, I'm not asking if it's supported. I just want to know
If
if it
you
works.
can.
If it works, okay?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that may not be supported that I might do, just because it works. So.
Because you're full contact IT.
Well, you know. Colby, what do you got, man?
I'm pretty sure we had people in the chat during the pre-show that said they are using it on Windows 10 right now.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's cool.
Excellent. Thank you guys for chiming in and enlightening me, and maybe Hanks. I don't know. Were you feeling enlightened?
I feel lightened.
Lightened? Okay. All
I
right.
feel ashamed to be so oblivious too.
Ashamed. Ashamed. I feel ashamed.
I have no shame.
Okay, so profiles, you can go after those and get rid of the ones you don't want, especially in your labs, right?
Yeah.
Let's also talk, since we're doing WMI, should we do
You know,
another one?
you know
What?
the other way I got rid of profiles? Reimage.
Reimage?
Just start from
That is, we
blow it
typed
away.
full contact.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
full
I was
contact.
full
like
contact,
that. But, okay. The other thing is, let's go look at, like, obviously GPOs. Other WMI things that will help you out.
Sure.
Again,
Do you want to
Yeah.
look at a scan profile for that, or do you want to just jump
yeah,
right to
no,
it?
let's look at that profile. I know we brought this up before. It just is so unbelievably helpful because I love GPOs. I am not the best at doing group policy objects.
Did you build that?
I did build that, though, and it works. The thing about it is whether or not it's been applied. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
So
I
again,
just
if
added
you,
computer details
if
to
you,
it.
you had, of course I did it. Yeah, no details. So select from, again, guys. It's one of those things. We'll
click.
just pop this up.
You want me to drive?
Edit. Yeah. Okay. Again, you're going to connect. RSOP. Double click. RSOP computer. Again. Now, filter, those filters work really, really good. Now, if you don't go up in the filter, just hit GPO up there. Because I'm telling you guys, this worked really good.
Yeah.
Some of the other things I've searched for is a lot of work, but at least it narrowed it down. Once again, run these guys to make sure they run fast, okay? So, or at least you know what to expect when you send them out,
Exactly.
okay? We ran this. Again, there's no trigger on this guy, or is there a trigger?
Magic.
Trigger! I did a trigger at least.
I'm proud of you.
Are you proud of me?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm going to hit OK on that. Let's go look at the actual
Let's
results.
just go look at the data.
So Allen Rails, same thing. If we have multiple WMI queries, we can actually switch back and forth between them. So now you've got all the GPOs that are applied.
Okay, you know what? I'm expecting to see a lapse in there, a lapse GPO. So I'm not seeing it here. Let's go build.
Do we have it on another one? Do we
I
have
know
it?
we do.
Let's
Maybe
take a
we'll
look at
just
another
Beth
one.
here. GPO lapse.
There you
There
go.
it is. Okay. So I need to get Beth applied or lapse applied. I need to get Beth applied. I need to get lapse applied to all the machines. So let's build a dynamic collection.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is real quick. Again, you go here and
Let me type.
I'm stepping away from. We decided yesterday I'm not allowed to touch the keyboard. It's probably a smart thing. Needs lapse applied. We're going straight there, are we?
No, we're going to go to has.
Pass. Okay.
Has.
Pass. Again, you need to go find that WMI table that was built. There it is. Applied GPO. Name contains lapse. LAPS. I can spell that one.
That's why we picked it.
That is why we picked it.
So now we should be seeing only machines that have lapse applied. But obviously, the whole point of this is to be able to find the opposite.
And the
find-
easiest way to do that is duplicate that query, or that, no, it is a query, but duplicate that collection. And while he's renaming that, guys, again, it's a one-to-many relationship. The difference is one computer name. One computer, many group policies, of one-to-many. So we
So
need
you mean I don't want to change it to does not contain?
It won't work. It won't work the way you
Darn
expect. So
it.
consider this a container. I'm looking for everybody that has lapse, and then at the upper level there, don't return me any of those, and
Yeah.
you will get what you're looking for.
So we
Oh,
should see Allen
logic.
Rails on here.
Oh, logic.
Logic.
Speaking of logic, let's do a question.
Sure.
Yoo-hoo, Beach Babes.
Whoa.
Can PDQ Inventory work with lapse to show the machine and password? Mahalo, Marky Mark.
Hey, thanks, Jake. You just derailed my train, man.
No, lapse will not. So what? Our lapse
Work
options
with
that
lapse?
we have under credentials.
Whoa. It can
Am I
work
reading-
with Laps. In fact, credentials, it's a great way to do it.
Absolutely works with
Absolutely.
it. But as far as showing the password,
No.
yeah, that's what I was going for. So you can actually do add laps right from here.
Mm-hmm.
And here's actually a link to learn more about laps. And there's stuff in the bonus content about laps.
I'd say we'd add it, but I'm not sure exactly what would happen at this point, so I would need to learn more about Laps myself.
Yeah, so you can enter the credentials in, but it's not going to give any of the password information or anything, anything like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Good question, though. Thank you.
Perfect. So, but to go back, now we actually have all the machines that don't have the Laps GPO applied, so we can start investigating, figuring out why.
Other things you can look for, we've got a WSUS
Yeah.
group policy.
Well, we actually built that one earlier, too.
Pre-built
so-
this, yeah. Surprised that I would bring that up.
I know, right? It's almost like you're reading from a list of things that need to be done.
Did we make a list?
Checked it twice.
You made a list, okay.
I checked it more than twice.
You did. It was pretty
I'm,
funny.
I'm pedantic.
Pedantic is the word of the day. Use it in a
I
sentence.
think it's the word of the year.
Okay, good point.
Cool.
All right. Again, group policy, it's a good way to check what's out there, get your stuff updated.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think the other thing that I like to do is I like to clean up applications, especially if I'm inheriting this from somebody else.
Whoa, time out. You want to clean up your network? Yeah. Okay, applications. So what do you... I love our application report. That's the first place I would go. Boom, application
Yeah.
report.
So let's just real quick glance.
Okay.
If we look at a computer
Okay.
and we go actually to the applications page, here's everything for Beth. And so, yeah, I can scroll through and look at each of these. I can use collections, build everything, but I want to look at all the different applications that we have in our environment. So if I go to the applications report, make sure that the source is all computers.
You can change that right
Okay.
there, collection source.
Choose which one. So now you can actually limit it down to just say servers, things
Yeah.
like that. So, but now I've got this list of everything in add or remove programs from every machine, which is kind of cumbersome.
Just a lot to look at right there, but let's
Yeah.
make it easy on ourselves.
So I'm just going to right click on the name column and actually do group by this column.
Right out the gate, I can tell we need to update 7-zip.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So that means that either the schedule for 7-zip isn't working or we don't have one.
And you'll notice right here on the side right here, guys, that's the number of machines that actually have it. So if
Did
we...
I say you could touch my keyboard?
Hey.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Gentle. As you expand it, you can see the machines that
sorry.
actually were the 8 machines that had 1805 7-zip on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say that I want to filter this down for one application that I've got to send in for security, send to my boss.
So you could filter here.
Okay, so
could,
like BandyZip.
BandZip. I love it.
Okay, so I could type in BandyZip, but how am I going to set that up as a report to just show BandyZip without typing in that filter?
You have to copy it or make a new one, right?
Okay, so let's go ahead and take that filter out, close that up, and here's what I like to do. I like to duplicate
Duplicate.
and take that exact same report. Let's click on Define Report.
Name it.
Machines with BandyZip. Did I spell it right? Wow, I didn't
Close
even look at
enough.
that.
Close
So-
enough. I know what you were going for.
Yeah, so let's do all application name contains.
Again, you guys can build these. We know you can. We're just showing you quick shortcuts, fast ways to get what you need.
So now I've only got, without even the grouping or any version, I mean, these are all the same version number, but you could see all the version numbers, everything here. So you could use this for antivirus, for an application you have to make sure is up to date. Something that, you know, the security auditors are coming down and saying, hey, why is this out of date?
If you were looking for antivirus, people, that kind of thing, there you go.
Right. And you can actually set this up as an auto report.
Schedule that to come to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
cool. Sure.
Let's do a question, definitely.
Hey guys, I've just installed Deploy in Inventory and was wondering how I can connect to computers that aren't on any domain. Don't forget to wear sunscreen, Brian L.
Dude.
Righteous.
So if it's your time and it's my time, it's our time.
Do you want to try and answer the question?
Absolutely. You can, if you've got work group machines, again, you go to add computers and you can add them by name there. And then you would need to make sure that you have, go ahead and pick a name of sorts. Fakeness. All right. Now you would need to have credentials that will allow you local admin rights on this. In this case, we're going to pick local admin. Now I'm pretty sure my lab doesn't have fakeness, but that's how you would do it. You'd hit add. It would try and authenticate that. If the credentials were legit, you'd be good to go.
Yep.
Add it that way.
Yeah, or you
But
can import a list into if you've got
the other thing you need to make sure you do, again, is go up here to Preferences. Active Directory, Preferences is right down there.
Yes.
Active Directory, and make sure you do a mix sync, okay?
Yeah.
Because what'll happen the next time your sync runs, it'll just get rid
Yeah.
of that machine that you just
undo
added.
all the work you just
Absolutely.
did. Cool.
Hopefully that takes care of you. What other thoughts?
Well, I was going back to the applications actually. We actually did a report as well for applications installed in the last 5
I
days.
just want to know, how did you segment from this is how you add a computer to let's talk about applications?
I just did it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. Applications the last 5 days. So basically, you're looking for things that you may have installed, or better yet, someone else may have installed.
So after I went through the work of looking at an application report, trying to clean everything up, obviously you have some applications like Google Chrome that you do not have to be an admin to install.
Okay.
And when you're in education, teachers find all sorts of things to, oops, I didn't mean to put that on there.
Okay, okay.
So to make a long story short, what I did is I made a report that I had sent to myself.
That's kind of cool. I just want to see how you did it. Columns, computer application name, install date, filters. Installed it between, okay. Now this is always,
There's a couple ways to do that.
this
but
has
yeah.
always gotten me. It's like between 5 days ago, after 5 days ago, before. Test this one, because if you use the wrong logic, you're going to get the bad. We did it like 4 different ways yesterday.
yeah.
And finally,
Until we stopped and thought, and
yeah, think through the logic on it, because what's before 5 days ago?
don't start.
Yeah, okay, once again.
It works. So anyway, I can set this up. Now I can see every application that's actually been installed in my environment in the last 5 days.
Excellent.
So doesn't tell me who did it, but tells the machine. All right.
Again, cleaning things up, applications, looking at GPOs. Eventually, let's talk about hardware. Hardware refreshes,
Yeah, because it's summertime. So
maybe
you've
some
got-
OS refreshes, that kind of thing. You've got some time with people not messing with their machines. So
Yeah.
right out the gate, let's say we're doing a hardware refresh. Things that I look at right out the gate, memory. Now, we're going to look at some pre-built collections that come with inventory, and boom, right down there is memory. I've got 21 machines that have 4 gig or less. And I got to click on it because it's just showing our reports, but there we go.
I know, but
Yeah. Right. So again, if you're upgrading, these might be candidates. I mean, this is how I upgrade hardware.
full
I
context.
get some new, well, definitely that way, but I get some new machines. I call all my friends. Hey, I got a new machine for you. Got a new machine for you. And then I go after old hardware. Well, come on, think about it. Really, do you not take care of the people who take care of you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't
Right.
disagreeing.
So after you get that round done, shh, don't tell your boss. This is a good way. Again, look for your memory.
Yeah, it's just matching system requirements, making sure these machines are going to work for upgrading from Windows 7 to Windows 10, things like that.
Very true. Another thing I like to look for is hard drive space.
Yeah.
Machines that have used up their hard drive space. Now, an interesting thing with looking for that, up in the collection library, we do keep hard drive space, less than 20%, less than 10%.
Yeah.
And again, the nice thing, you double click on these bad boys, you can go in and see how we did it. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, so now what you need to determine is the amount of space left on these. Let's take a look at Rick here. We can go down here to disk drives and actually see what size the drive is. Is it a problem of the drive is too small or that there's too much junk?
Now, again, when I find there's too much junk, I like to delete stuff. Now, that makes a lot of enemies if you're not careful, but, I always send a message out before you do it. Hey, sometime in the near future, maybe before you leave, I'm going to delete your stuff, so
See, I always trick
make a
them.
backup.
I'm like, who wants the latest and greatest? Sorry, you don't have enough space. You're going to have to get rid of all your personal photos.
You're talking being kind about it.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
well, either way, whether you're going to replace hard drives, whether you're going to replace machines, again, another place to look. Just to make your life easier on the flip side when everybody comes back.
Yeah. What about identifying which OSs you have in your environment?
Obviously, if it's in the summer, let's upgrade OSs. If we can, let's get them all on the same, like Windows 10, for example. So if you go to hardware and you look up hardware here, we get all of the OSs. We get the disks. Where no,
It's under OS. I'm already
sorry.
expecting it. Sorry.
Wow. You clicked somewhere I wasn't expecting.
That's what she said.
Anywho, you go down here, Windows 10, that's great. We've got 19 machines with Windows 10. We got it broken down by bits and stuff, but I want to see what versions, which is also a pre-built collection. You just need to look under Windows updates.
Yeah, so this is going to tell you that you have an out-of-date version of Windows 10, but if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, you can go down to the Windows Update where we actually break it down into each individual version of Windows 10.
And why not get everybody on the same version?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can, why not do it?
Sure.
And again, if you're looking, say, like at Windows 7 or something, that's a good option for maybe a hardware refresh.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the thing to think about is, what does it take to run the OS versus, your hardware minimum requirements? So, do we have any other questions at this point?
Hey, bros. I haven't updated any machines with a feature update, such as 1809 using PDQ. I have only used WSUS. Can you give a brief example of the process, including any known problems that could damage/corrupt the client? Look forward to sipping on Mai Tais this summer. Clifton A.
I'm just going to grab the glass right now. Okay, so here's the thing about upgrading OS versions. You need a little freshie there?
No.
Okay. Before you do it, you're going to want one of these. Okay, here's the thing. It's not necessarily supported. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Remember that discussion we were having about Dell Prof? Supported, can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots on our forums of customers who have done it,
Okay.
but it's not supported by
Now, let me
PDQ.
explain why it's not supported. Okay.
Yeah.
In that OS upgrade, you can have reboots that are caused by the update itself, right? We don't control them.
Yeah.
So it's possible that update could run. We could lose connection long enough to go, it didn't work, and it actually worked on the other end.
Well, what's most likely going to happen is you're going to push out a command to initiate that.
Absolutely.
And the command's going to come back successful. Mm-hmm. Not that it's successfully installed, but that the command ran.
So here's the thing, and not knowing, being able to tell definitively what it is, one of those things is like, yeah, you can do it. Just, we may not report it properly that way. The other thing, as it's an OS upgrade, and for me, it's a little scary to do, just kind of on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Onesie, twosie, not a big deal, but again, we did a webcast one time and told people we're going to show you how to do something to mitigate a problem, but don't do it, and people did it. So
Yeah.
again,
During the webcast.
yes. So it's one of those things, read about it, test it, it can be done.
Absolutely.
Use at your own risk. Is
Yeah.
that a good way to put it?
I agree.
All right. Colby, any thoughts on OS upgrades using us?
You covered it great.
Thank you much.
All right. Is there a good way to determine the user that logs into a PC the most and return that username as a variable in a PowerShell script? I want to back up specific app data and a few registry settings for whomever is the usual user of a PC and not back up everyone that has ever logged into it. Thank you, boys. Carrie O.
Carrie, again, I just got to start out with this. It's end user. Why? Okay. Now, beyond my no, I love end users. I do.
We actually talked about this a little bit when we saw the question come through. Colby had mentioned too, whenever you have a user log in, you've got that entry in the event logs.
Absolutely.
But those are eventually going to fill up and then drop off. So you're not really going to get an accurate count of how
Who's
many
logged in
times
the
somebody
most.
logged in
Yeah.
and so forth. So
That's
A
kind of
little
some
bit
sketchy data there.
Yeah.
The other thing, I guess you could PowerShell back that up. I'm looking over at you, Colby.
Something I just thought of is you could have a login script that increments a counter, and then store that in the registry and grab it with a registry scanner.
there you go.
I like it.
Cool.
I'm glad Colbypedia is here. Mr. Pedia, as Kelly calls him. I love it.
Gentlemen.
So,
Is there a way to trigger/force an install a feature update like 1809 that has already been downloaded from WSUS? Thanks in advance, Louis O.
I believe there is a command, and I'm not sure what it is. I think
That's probably what's in the forums
Yeah.
initiated, because I believe the process that's been described is copying the files over, or what's been downloaded from
And then
WSUS,
kicking it
and
off.
initiating it.
Yeah.
So
that's a forums, yeah. All right. So Deepfreeze, that's another thing some people have, some people don't, maybe BitLocker. Let's just go show you where you can find information about that.
okay,
Okay, so on the computer tab, table, screen, what are these things called on the side?
pages.
Pages. All right.
I learned something.
You learned me something. If you scroll to the bottom right there, Deepfreeze status. Again, a lot of education will freeze their labs, so it doesn't matter what people do. When it reboots, it goes back to that state. you can find and build collections, and you can build packages based off those criteria. If it is part of this and it is in a frozen state, go ahead and thaw it. If not, move on to the next.
And I've actually seen users put in before that they'll do a collection to only show a machine if it is thawed.
Okay.
So that as a target, or even for a deployment, you can use that as something or like a criteria to say, hey, don't deploy to this machine if it's in a frozen state.
Well, and the nice thing now, you've got the scan step, so you can send a thaw and then a reboot, and then you can recheck it to make sure that it's been thawed at that point, and then you can move on. So Deepfreeze, again, use your imagination, guys. If you can find it here, you can put options on your packages and your steps.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, BitLocker, same type of thing. Determine whether the machine's encrypted, that kind of deal.
Yeah, I'm just going to click on this little grid here really quick. These are all the other columns that we show for BitLocker that we do not show by default.
So you can add those.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can actually just see more than just BitLocker protection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not going to show the password.
No, it won't.
It's encrypted.
But again, you can get
I
some
know.
information in regards to
I'm
whether
sure
or not
somebody will ask,
you've
but
got
yeah.
encrypted drives. So we got a last question?
I got a tough one for you guys. What is your favorite summer activity?
Ooh.
Ooh. Why?
Can I-
Your
can I-
pal, Jason A.
Can I answer for Lex?
Go ahead, try. I dare you.
Sailing.
Okay, I would say yes, except for sailing with a drink in my hand. Come on, pirates, rum.
For me, it's mostly soccer. Mostly my kids just hanging out, camping, doing stuff like that.
You go to more soccer games than anybody I know. Honestly, they should have. Have you got a butt groove in your chair there now over at the stadium?
No.
You haven't sat there enough?
I think last week, so I have my son plays soccer. He also is a ref, and he guest plays. So last week alone, I was at soccer every day of the week. On Friday, I was at two different soccer games, and on Saturday, 3. So a lot of miles just for soccer.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Soccer on a big sailboat, huh? Well, guys, getting ready for summer. I've obviously started the drinking portion of that.
Yeah.
And we went through a bunch of things. Hopefully we've piqued got your mind thinking about things you might need.
Are you almost beach ready?
Oh, look at that beach body. But at least got you thinking about things you may need to look at in regards to getting things ready for summer so you can have a good summer vacation.
Yeah.
Hey, mahalo, aloha, whatever it is, hang loose. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We hope that Jason and Lex gave you some tips to make your summer a little easier so you can go out there and prevent yourself from getting a sunburn. Congrats to our swag winners today, Mark K, Brian L, and Clifton A. Guys, send your info into webcast@pdq.com, and we will get that swag sent out to you. Also, let us know which item of swag that you would like. All right, everybody, thanks so much, and we will see you next time.